Hey people, what is going on? I'm the Broken Puppet, and today I'm going to teach you 5 great little tattoo designs that are just perfect for just little cute tattoos, or if you want like a gap filler, like say if you've got a few tattoos and you've got like a little gap that you kind of don't know what to do, these designs are like perfect for those little gaps. You know, there are other kind of designs, but it's just 5 examples of 5 ones that work really well. I'm going to start off with, on the iPad Pro and Procreate, got a technical pencil. It's going to sketch in. The first one's going to be a little rose. So I'm just going to sketch in a rough circle. I'm going to curve up from the bottom, come up, and create a little loop around. Once you've got that loop, you're going to curve up, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and curve that around. So you've got this little loop at the top. And then what you're going to create these curves around here, so you're just filling in the rest of that circle bit. And once you've got that, at the bottom, we're going to create this petal. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That one a bit better. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that one about the same kind of width as the other one. So you've got this kind of sort of shape. And the reason why these are so good is because it's a general circular based one, so it fits in anywhere. But the good thing about this is you can expand with the leaves, and the leaves are perfect because they can kind of like shape off into any kind of direction, so they can fill any gap perfectly. So I'm going to do an example one here. So I'm going to bring this little sort of triangle shape on the outside. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to create another little one just here. It's going to curve off to a point, go back, create another one just over here. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Curve off, curve back. Put another one just up here. So you see, you can put these kind of around any way you want, and like any sort of like little gap you have where like a random parts off, you can use this perfectly to kind of fill in those gaps. Once you've got that, you can add little other bits. So say if you had a little gap over here you want to kind of fill, you can kind of go 1, 2, 3 if you want. And down the bottom here, you can have a nice little curve off. 1, 2. And you can shrink this down to be as big or as small as you want. So say we have that size, I'm just going to go new one. I'm going to go clicker free. Just a black thing, just make it nice and neater. So now we've got it on here. So just whipping this in on a separate layer. And once you've got your rough guidelines, you can just make it nice and neat. You know, but I love it, you know, I mean, every tattooist you know in the world will love roses because they're just so versatile, and again, because of the way you can kind of like merge the shapes with the petals and the leaves, you know, that are just ideal for any tattoo because you can just really shape them to anything. You know, these ones are predominantly old school based. You can do sort of like realistic ones and neo-trad ones. You know, new school roses. There's loads of variations. If you're not too sure how to do them, I can do like a video showing you how to draw like roses in different styles. You know, I'll do like one video and I sort of go through sort of like 4 or 5 styles or something. If that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. And also, if you like this video, make sure you give it a like. You know, likes really do help my videos. You know, I like more people to be able to see them. So the more people who see, the more it helps. And like, kind of like boost the algorithm. So if you're watching this video and you like it, just click the little like button. It makes a big difference for these videos. Oops. So you see, we're just going to whip these ones in here. 1, 2, 3. So perfect, classic little old school design there. You know, and you can use that to fit in any kind of gap, you know, and they can be as big or as small as you want with these ones. You know, and that's the good thing about them. Beauty ones, these can be like absolutely tiny little roses like this big, can be big ones like this. You know, they're just such a versatile thing you can use. So I'm going to move that one over there for now. I'm going to go back to the red sketching. Next one I can teach you is a little dagger. You know, daggers are great because they're sort of like generally straight, so if you have any kind of little space in your tattoo, you can use this for that. So I'm just going to sketch in straight lines to begin with. Just going to go rough circle on top, a rough oval on that. I'm going to do a V shape just here. You know, if you turn on the symmetry tool, it makes it easier, but I'm not going to bother doing that for this one. And then from the bottom, just create a nice curve up, like so. About even spaced on either side. Just like that. Now let's wrap it, and once you have that, you can put your little detail parts. So this bottom just here, I'm going to create 2 curves going up to the centre line. Where you've got this V shape here, I'm going to loop around the end, bring these lines back, loop on the end, bring the line back. Just inside there, we're going to create this little box shape that's going to fit in this space just here. So if you imagine like a kind of box shape just there, fits just there. Your dagger lines, just neaten up to those edges. The inside part here you can kind of create up. When you get to the circle bit here, just create little 2 lines across like this. Just curve this up, make this kind of pointy at the top if you want. Little secondary line just in there. And on the inside, just you can do like loads of different kind of sort of patterns when I do these curves. So 2 curves just like so. And there's a rough dagger. So if we go another layer, again I'm just going to go black over the top so you can see everything nice and clearly. You know, you can take your time with these. I'm just kind of whipping these in real quick. You know, I don't expect you guys to go as fast as what I'm going here. You know, this is pretty much just experience. You know, I've drawn these kind of like so many times over. You probably hear me say it all the time, you know, but speed comes with time. And just because you go quick doesn't mean it's necessarily a good thing. Well, I mean, it's handy if you can go quick, but you know, if you go slower and your piece is better, then in the long run, that is the better thing to do. You know, it's all about the quality in the end. Curve that right so it's nice and even. Straight line up. Look at those little line details just in there. And that little line detail we said in here. Turn off that sketching work. I'll just rub it out. And you've got an old school dagger. Like I said, old school dagger is really good because where they're straight, you can kind of fit those in any kind of sort of space or shape you want. You know, they're ideal. So secondary one is the dagger. So I'm going to move you just down there out of the way for a sec. And then thirdly, we're going to do like a little sort of blossom. So go to sketching tool again. You know, it's always good sort of getting a habit of sort of sketching before you go in with a full complete design. So we're going to sketch in a circle. You can do as many as you want around here. Traditional kind of number normally is about 5. So what we're going to do, it's going to sketch around this again. Just hold that like so, just increase it. So I've got a rough about even sort of space circle. You know, so everything's roughly about even size around the edge. I'm just going to divide this into roughly about sort of 5. So roughly about that sort of thing. And then what I'm going to do when I get to the edge here, just going to loop this, cut this around like this, go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you've got 3 little dips just up on each one. I'm going to do a little line detail just inside each one of these, just up the centre part of it really. Maybe a little dot on each one. And then the great thing about this again, you can add leaves on the outside to really sort of adjust it. You can sort of just do little ones in between like this and be kind of sort of cherry blossom kind of like. Or you can go for your kind of old school classic one where you kind of sort of like curve out to a point. You curve back and you can add multiple ones of these. And again, this makes it really ideal for like curving into different kind of shapes. It's not a general rule, but I quite like to go from the middle parts of each petal. I feel like so. And again, I'm just going to create another layer now. Just going to go back to the inking, black, and just mark this one in. You know, and these are the basic ways. You can modify these with nice little patterns. This is just like the basic kind of ways of doing these. You know, but just because they're the basic ways doesn't mean they're not any sort of, you know, different in value. You know, a lot of time the simple ones can be better sometimes. You know, a tattoo doesn't necessarily have to be like super high detail to look amazing. You know, I've seen a few people, it's kind of like a bit of a trend, they kind of do like old school tattoos, and they're just doing like really massive bold lines, but massive in size. You know, and I feel like amazing. You know, they're dead simple, but just where they're so big, they've got massive impact. Let's throw these in here. Take your time with these ones, get these a bit more even than what I'm getting now. I'm putting them a bit quick. You know, ideally you want to get them nice and symmetric on both sides. little cherry blossom. Again, just going to rub out the old bit so you've got the sketch wax all got. Rub that dagger. So that's your blossom. Can move you over there. Going to go back to the red now, sketch in. Next one we're going to do is going to be a classic butterfly. You know, again, this is really good because of this sort of shape. So we're going to start off with oval shape, second oval, little circle, and then for the wings, I like to sort of bring them out kind of like this. Bring the line back and quite sharp, go a little bit lower than what its body part is, and curve back up here. So you're kind of making it almost sort of triangular. I just find this a really good sort of starting point for getting the wings the right kind of shape. The ones below, I'm going to create quite a sort of circle and kind of curve them back in. So I'm going to curve off of this. I like to make sure they come like within this kind of wingspan. So these lines are kind of within this sort of space. I'm going to put a little line just in between it, and you can create a little loop around that if you want. Just like so. The antenna bit is just going to create two little flicks just coming off like so. And once you've got that, you can sort of bring in the detail bit. So we're going to bring this here, and when we get to the end here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. I can dip in there. Same on this side, so we're going to bring this out. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. So you've got 3 little dips. On the inside here, I'm just going to create this curve. Create secondary lines inside that. A bit similar on this side, just 2 line curves, like so. I'm going to mimic this outside line here now, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And where each line kind of comes in the centre, I'm just going to bring this back, like so. So I'm going to mimic the outline line, 1, 2, 3. Curve your line. A bit similar on the bottom here, I'm going to create this curved line here that's kind of mimicking that shape. Then I'm going to do a circle on the inside. So round there, circle on the inside. Just like that. And create another layer now, I'm going to go back to the black, back to calligraphy monoline, and just neaten it all up again. Just going to whip in those little circle bits in the centre. You can put a little line details down here if you want, it's always quite nice. Now it's really up to you, like, you know, the more kind of pattern work you put, generally the better it be. You know, old school is very much about kind of pattern work. And when you want to elaborate on a design, you know, sort of try and think from a pattern kind of point of view, really. I find that really helps. Just achieving that old school kind of vibe to it. So getting these upper wings in here, just mimicking these lines again. Almost done with this one. Again, just do it on this side. What I've done this side. Oh well. And there's your butterfly. Just get rid of the sketchwork lines. Put that one down there so that's out of the way. Let's create another layer now, go back to the reds, and now we're going to do a snake. An old school snake is really good because where they're bendy, you can use this to get any kind of shape. So if you have a really random little shape, or just a little space you want to get something in, this is absolutely perfect for it. And then I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to create this kind of oval shape. Kind of curve this off a point. So once you get there to a point, bring in 2 little lines just down like this. And that's going to create sort of bottom part of the mouth. Little line for teeth just there. And then what we're going to do, come from this bottom bit, we're going to create this curve now that comes around here. Around this bottom bit just here. And then just come back here, we're going to create these little curves just inside this space. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And similar to this bottom bit, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. And we're going to sneeze. Ugh. Sorry about that. When you need to sneeze, you can't help it. Alright. And you've got a little gap there, so we're going to add this little circle in. I'm going to bring this line around the top just to here. Curving this off. Just going a little lead back there if you want for the back of the head. The tongue is going to be dead simple. We're going to create a curve coming out like this, and when we get here, split into two little lines. You know, it's really just classic old school. Sorry about my nose, I've got a bit of a cold at the minute, I really can't help that. If I could, I would, but I can't. And after this, we're going to create a body shape, so this one I'm going to curve around this way. Just curve this way, and I'm going to create a second O-line now, trying to keep it roughly about even space apart, so this body's nice and about even. And this body can be as long as short as you want. You know, once you get to where you want it, you can always make a little little line like this, and kind of break it into the skin, so you can kind of fit into any kind of shape you want. You can do that and carry it up again, do like another one where it comes out, so I start going in the skin and out the skin. I think I'm going to have it like that, which is kind of coming today. I quite like that. And then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to draw another little line just on the inside. You know, making sure this little space here is a little bit wider than this part here. You know, because it's basically like the underbelly. You know, I want the main part of his body to be a bit thicker than the underbelly. And when you get here, you can just do lines like this if you want the whole way through, which is one option. I like to bring curves. So just bring these curves across here. I mean, you can do rotation in the snake, so when the body sort of turns if you want. But in old school stuff, generally, you don't really get too much of that. No, you get it sometimes, but it's more common for the the underbelly just to stay on the same side of the body. So you got the body going around just like that, and just on the background part here, just on the back of on his back, I'm going to create this little line just here, the dips, and a little secondary line, and I'm just going to repeat this coming throughout the whole body. Just real dead simple, but it's just really effective. And like I said, all these designs are just really great for little tattoos or little gap fillers. Just like that. And then again, just lastly, I'm going to go back to the inking, go black, and just going to neaten it all up now. Now I'm using quite a chunky line here. I do like to use chunky lines for my old school stuff. But one of the old sort of myths with old school tattoos, you don't have to use a big line to make old school tattoos. You can't use a dead perfect thin line, but if you're familiar with tattooing, a lot of old school tattoos were done with like a 5 and a 7, you know, liner. You know, as with most tattoos like modern day ones now, they're generally done with sort of like a 9 or above, you know, 9, 11, 14. I know some people do about 18s. If you're not familiar with the numbers, don't worry, it's just the width, well, the amount of needles in a tattoo liner. It basically just means how thick the line ends up being, really. You know, so if you're not familiar with the terminology, don't worry, it's just it's a tattoo related thing. Just whip that in there, then just whip in these body bits. And remember, your sketch work is like a guideline. It's not a golden rule. You know, putting your line weight now is like, you know, the finished kind of product, so you can make changes as you feel like it needs it. Sometimes you might find a curve is too short or too small. A little detail you might feel might need to be left out, or an extra one might be added in. You know, now's the time to do that. You know, you don't want to mess around with your line work after this. Just put that line there. So we go over there, and these two lines kind of go behind the body, so it looks like it goes inwards. And these back part of the body is just curved up like this. You know, any pattern pretty much we're here will do. Just you want like a nice kind of repeating pattern that's going to fill this kind of space. You know, snakes are all about kind of repetition with the patterns. You know, it's kind of what makes them a bit hypnotic, and it's what I really love about old school snakes. Well, snakes in general, like you know, you do get a similar sort of thing with like neo-trad and Japanese. But just like Neotrad tends to have a bit more kind of variation, and Japanese tends to have a bit more pattern specific, where you have it in like scales and stuff. And there's a snake. So you have it, people. 5 little cool things that make great little tattoos or little gap fillers that can pretty much be used anywhere on the body. You know, if you have a little gap, one of these will work in those kind of gaps. And they're great little fundamentals to kind of work off. So yeah, I hope that helped you guys. You know, check out my videos. I'll do more of these kind of ones. I'll do variations as well, like how to do like certain kind of roses, daggers, more snakes. You know, how to sort of change them up. Anything specific you guys want to see, let me know. You know, if there's something you're kind of struggling with, I'll do a whole study on one specific thing. But for now, I'm Deep Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time. Peace.